At 8 years old, Leo got a toy robot for his birthday. He loved it, slept with it, took it to school. One day, it fell, snapped in two. He cried for hours. His mom said, "Let's throw it away." Leo shook his head. He opened it up, saw wires and screws. He didn't know what anything did, but he tried anyway, watched videos, asked questions. It took weeks. He soldered his first wire at 9. At 10, he fixed neighbors' toys. At 12, he built his own. He joined competitions, lost, improved. By 16, he created a robotic hand for a classmate born without one. It worked. The boy cried. Leo cried too. Now Leo studies engineering, not because of school, but because of a broken robot. It taught him that failure isn't an end. It's an invitation to understand. And that curiosity, when nurtured, becomes power. All because he didn't give up on something everyone else thought was junk. Nina hated the rain. It reminded her of everything that ever went wrong. The day her dad left, the day she lost the scholarship, the day she stood in the street, soaked and sobbing. So when clouds gathered, she stayed inside, shut the blinds, turned up the music. But one day, it started raining during her morning walk. She froze. Then something strange happened. A little girl danced past her in the storm, laughing, spinning, arms wide. Nina stood there watching. Something cracked open. She let her umbrella fall, let the water run down her face. She didn't dance, but she smiled and kept walking. From then on, every time it rained, she didn't hide. She went out, took deep breaths. She learned that pain doesn't always leave, but it doesn't have to lead. Now she tells her story in community centers, to girls who think storms will drown them. She tells them what she learned. Sometimes the rain isn't punishment. It's the place where we begin again. Jake waited tables for 5 years. He refilled drinks, cleaned spills, smiled through rude customers. But between orders, he wrote tiny stories on napkins, receipts, inside his notebook. Nobody knew. Until one day, a regular forgot her book. He ran after her, but she was gone. He slipped one of his stories inside before leaving it at the counter. A week later, she returned. "Did you write this?" she asked. He froze, then nodded. She smiled. "I'm a publisher." One story led to 10. 10 led to a deal. Years later, Jake walked into a bookstore and saw his name on a shelf. He still eats at the diner sometimes, sits in the back, brings a pen, because some stories are born in noise, and others in quiet moments between coffee and chaos. All of them matter, especially the ones that waited patiently to be told. Maya failed her drive-in test. Badly. She hit the cone, forgot to signal, nearly reversed into a tree. She laughed through the embarrassment, but cried on the way home. Her brother said, "Maybe driving's not your thing." That stung. She waited 6 months, practiced every weekend, watched videos, made notes. She didn't just want to pass, she wanted to grow. Second try came. She was nervous, sweaty palms. But this time, she took her time, breathed, trusted herself. She passed. Not perfectly, but proudly. Now, Maya drives her grandmother to the park every Sunday, plays music, sings with the windows down. Because the second try wasn't just about a license. It was about not letting failure write the final line. And sometimes the most important yes is the one that comes after a big no. Every afternoon, Ezra sat by the subway entrance with his guitar. He played old songs, new songs, made-up songs. People passed. Few listened. Fewer stopped. But Ezra kept playing. Not for coins, for peace. Music was how he healed. He had lost his wife, then his job, then his home, but not his song. One day, a little girl stood still, listened to every note. She clapped. Her dad filmed, posted it online. Within a week, the video had 2 million views. Ezra was invited to play on a late-night show. He wore the same hat, played the same tune, but now the world listened. Not because he went viral, but because he kept showing up, even when no one was watching. Ezra still plays in the subway sometimes. Because for him, music isn't performance, it's survival, and every note is a way to say, I'm still here.